progress when we have dared to question dogma and embrace the terrifying but liberating thought. What if we are wrong? Some 16 odd years ago, I joined the Constitution Review Commission as its youngest researcher. I was then 22 years old. We were a team of 6 researchers supported by 6 research assistants, with Professor Raymond Atuwe then doubling as executive secretary and principal researcher. It was an honor to be part of a process that sought to interrogate the governance framework of our country. And I carried a deep sense of purpose as we listened to countless Ghanaians express their views about the Constitution. Over those months, I witnessed firsthand the aspirations, the frustrations, and questions that people had about a document that was supposed to be the bedrock of our democracy. From rural farmers and countless unemployed young people to urban professionals, the message was often the same. The Constitution, though once a symbol of hope, had become increasingly disconnected from the lived realities of the people it was meant to serve. I saw the statement from the presidency that appoints a new commission, and it refers to the work of the Constitution Review Commission. But one of the things it doesn't refer to, surprisingly, is the white paper that followed that work. The white paper, as the kids called, I remember when the white paper dropped, my former colleagues from the Constitution Review Commission drew lots, and the lot fell on me as the youngest to prepare what we call the variance report, the distinction between the white paper and what the recommendations of the commission were. Out of the 478 recommendations, the white paper accepted 229 recommendations, rejected outright 55 of them, and changed 27 of them. The white paper did not comment on 167 of those recommendations, leaving the legal status in a bit of a limbo. Now, critically, most of the rejected recommendations related to constitutional provisions. I'll try to give you a flavor of some of the rejections, okay? 1, the Commission recommends that the Constitution be amended to include the basic principles of children's rights. That is the best interest of the child, non-discrimination, right to life, survival and development, right to life, right to health, participation and sense of responsibility according to evolving capacities. The presidency rejected this. Somehow the 1992 Constitution is incompatible with children's rights. It was recommended that the National Development Plan be binding, which was what Ghanaians were calling overwhelmingly for, and be entrenched. Not accepted. It was said that every citizen would have the right to enforce a national development plan for the country. Not accepted. It was said that the National Development Planning Commission would be independent, professional, multi-partisan. Not accepted. It was said that it should reduce the number of presidential appointees to the Council of State. Not accepted. That the MMDCs in metropolitan areas should be elected by direct suffrage. Not accepted. The Commission also recommended that Article 14.3 of the Constitution be amended to reduce the time beyond which a person may be detained before being brought to trial from 48 hours to 24 hours. Not accepted. After the white paper came in, the Constitution Review Commission, had recommended that we set up a Constitution Review Implementation Committee. We call it CRIC. And their job was to then implement, I guess, in substance, the white paper report. But then the Attorney General took a new position, that it would be unconstitutional to put all the proposed amendments into 2 separate bills. Instead, all the recommendations would have to be proposed and go through their own individual Chapter 25 process, separate and individual bills. There was also some confusion whether there was the need for one single referendum for all the provisions, amending the entrenched provisions, or for every question deserved its own referendum. Then there was also Parliament. Of course, Parliament. I remember during the Commission's time, when Parliament was consulted about the review, they wanted 2 things. 1, make sure that dual citizens do not contest for MPs. 2, make sure that MPs can get appointed as ministers and don't touch anything else in the Constitution. Parliament, for its part, insisted that for all the entrenched and non-entrenched amendment bills, that they had the constitutional power to make changes to them when they were laid before Parliament. These questions continue to remain unsettled, and I trust that they will continue to haunt the process as we go forward.
Listen. Listen to the rhythm that does not change. The stagnant thrum of power. A tethered drum beating to the same tired hand. This is not the melody of progress. It is the heavy drone of power gone stale. Ago. It clings to the skin of nations like dust after the dry season. Imagine a village where the river no longer flows, where water pools thick, stagnant, breeding diseases while life would have danced there. Ago. Do you see it? This is what happens when power sits for too long. When one man's shadow stretches across generations until it blots out the sun. In a distant field, an elder sharpens his machete under a baobab tree. His hands are calloused. His face is worn with the lines of a story which he cannot tell. Do you see this earth? He asks. If you do not let it rest, if you do not plant something new, it will not turn what it's supposed to turn, and it will turn to stone beneath you. Ago. But the so-called leaders do not listen, and they forget that leadership is not about them and what they want. They say the soil belongs to me. This soil is mine. They say my roots are deeper than the trees. Ago. And so the seasons remain the same. Dry, dry, and dry again.
Right, so we will just get right into it. First of all, I want to invite the panelists here to share their initial thoughts. In just about 2 minutes, perhaps react to what we have heard from the chair and as well as Oliver and the Democracy Hub.
This points to the fact that a discussion about constitution cannot simply be about the constitution. And I think that's an important thing to say, especially in light of what Professor Jemabwedi said in relation to the kind of volatile feelings about the legitimacy or the paramountcy of constitutions vis-a-vis other forms of rule, such as military rule and so on and so forth. We saw a Black Star Square when Mahama was being sworn in. The biggest cheer was for Ibrahim Traore, the Burkinabe leader, with his controversial pistol in his side and so on and so forth. What that points to is that there's a sense in the sub-region and elsewhere in the world where people are questioning the fact that whatever we understand by the norms of liberal democracy simply facilitate the concentration of power, of wealth, and therefore the perpetuation of injustice and so on and so forth. From that point of view, I hope that the lesson that the first review that Oliver was describing, the one from 2010 to 2011, is taken on board in our discussion. One of the lessons that stood out for me, Oliver's long list of lamentations about what was rejected and not rejected, the fact is that debate was simply between the Commission and the government. No one else was involved. If today we're talking about a coalition, then it means that at least there's a sense that that debate, that conversation has to take its sources from beyond simply the specialized arenas and haloed corridors of those kinds of things. And when we come to that, hopefully I don't know how many minutes is left for a discussion, but those will be critical because we are in a far more of a deeper crisis than any of the comments that have been made here tonight begin to reflect. And it will be important to situate our discussion in that context.
The framers of the Constitution somehow trusted that we're going to have good leaders. I would say that a good constitution in the hands of bad men will fail. That is what we've had. We've had good constitution, what I still think is fundamentally okay. The problem is that we've had it in the hands of people with the wrong incentives. They are not in public service to serve. These are people who have come into public service with a private investment mindset. Unfortunately, we have a constitution which... Unfortunately, we have a system which is also structured in a way to incentivize that process. For example, we just finished an election. Do you know who funded the contestants? Do we know who funded the political parties? Now, if we don't care about the financiers, should we care about the corruption? We don't seem to realize that somehow there's a nexus, that people make political investment, and for every investor, there must be a return on investment. So for those who have invested in the recent election, they will soon line up for a return on investment. There are there are connections that we somehow don't realize. So to round up on this, lawyers don't do well speaking for short periods. But just to wrap up on this, I want you to recognize one thing. The Constitution contains problems. Some of the problems, in my opinion, require palliative response or responses. And I can give you an example, whether or not we should have a cap on the age of presidents.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Paul Adumochu, and I'd like to congratulate the organizers of the event. Good evening to my lecturers on the stage, Professor Jimabwedi, Kofi Abochi. They were all my lecturers, and my inspiration, Jachi Tano. Jachi, I'd like to start with a point you made about 1995, in terms of the establishments arresting themselves that there was a new order. I think that came a bit earlier, not on the streets, but at the Supreme Court. In December 1993, the 31st December case gave the first awakening to the junta that there was a constitution in place, except that happened in court. And that brings me to the point. Because it happened in court, we all assumed that the mobilization on the streets was stronger in Kumi Preko, which is what you referred to. But what happened in court was completely significant. And the sustainability of the Constitution till today, I will put it on the judiciary, especially the ruling in 31st. But let's bring the question back to why I'm worried about this coalition that we're putting together. Even though I'm fully in support of it, I sign up to it. We have a big responsibility. We will need to almost run a campaign, like a political campaign, to tell Ghanaians that this conversation we're having is connected to bread and butter. Because it is. But it's difficult to tell someone that a constitutional amendment process is connected to economic development. That's the big question that we all will have to answer. If we fail in answering that question, we will not be able to convince Ghanaians that there is any need for constitutional amendment. Now, I have just 1 minute left, so let me just finish it. On the constitutional amendment, my view of the matter is what I put in my book, which if I have to take advantage of Omaha's platform, I'm selling it outside. It's entitled Africa's New Constitutional Development, the 77 stories that define Ghana's Fourth Republic. It includes the story of the 31st Judging. But constitutions come out of the social contract, the one that Hobbes talked about. The constitutions come to arrange a way in which we distribute roles, power, mandate in a society. Every constitution does that. How to distribute it. Constitutions will usually prescribe elections as the way in which we distribute it. A constitution that suffers from a sustainability deficit is that constitution that is unable to distribute those things through the elections and through the rules fairly and adequately. What am I talking about? Ghana's constitution suffers that difficulty because the whole constitution brings us to a winner-takes-all situation. That's the fundamental problem. Now, it's not a bad constitution. It has served us well because in the time it started, we needed a constitution that creates stability. So those articles that we put in that generate stability have served us for this purpose. So it's been a good constitution. The only reason why we need to amend critical aspects of it now is that there's a change in times. People wanted stability, which those provisions that I'm going to advocate should be changed, gave that stability. Stability is over. We have sustained it in terms of stability. Now, it needs to deliver those resources. Otherwise, what we're going to have is not a coup d'etat. It's something greater than a coup d'etat. Because as Professor Jimabwedi said, the survey shows from Afrobarometer that Ghanaians don't like a coup d'etat.
Okay.
I'm ending. So you're going to have an announcement that will look like Rawlins's announcement in 81.
Right.
Where he said, I have not come to do a coup d'etat.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Right, so let's start with, his question was rather long, so let's start with Mr. Jachisano and then we'll come to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's always general principles that come to a discussion like this. So my man, the priest with the collar, started, sorry, I don't know your name, Christian Council of Ghana, talked about ethics. But again, ethics have to be concrete. They have to be concrete in the context that I'm talking about, in the redress and redistribution, the attainment of justice and so on. So if ethics today, for example, that Paul Adumochu must pay property tax, must pay all the capital gains he has had, that would be the beginning of ethics. Okay. Okay. The point is that the point is that we are in a situation where the injustices that people feel is because they see that there's, this wealth disparity and so on, so it's increasing. If we talk in terms of ethics, and that ethics, for example, reflects itself in a Bill of Rights for working people, a working people's charter, women's rights, and all those things begin to make their way as foundational principles into a constitution. What's his name? Oliver mentioned, for example, universal basic income. I'm not in support of universal basic income simply because, as we know, in these inflationary times, income can just simply vanish. And what is basic income? If it is made up of substantive thresholds of, let's say, service provision, access to services, of minimum period of paid employment, and so on and so forth. I'm trying to say, and if it is underpinned by increasing levels of local democracy, especially local governance reforms, public control of certain resources, commons, lands, how do you use that to raise finance, how do you use that for investment purposes, and so on and so forth. You are beginning to get somewhere. The difficulty in a discussion like this is going to the detail. You can only establish principles, and you can only establish what the relevance of those principles on the basis of the key aspects of the context, that the key challenges, the key problematic, I think somebody used a word like that, the key problematic of the context that you are in right now. So ethics and whether we can change constitutions or not in a sweeping way, or all of that is determined by the balance of forces between the various interests. And if we are to campaign about deepening democracy, if we are to campaign about, for example, having the right of recall, somebody said, what people get to office, they don't listen. But if you are instituting democracy at a local level where, let's say, at the unit committee level, you have, let's say, a water and sanitation committee elected by the popular assembly, which if you don't deliver, you can be recalled by, popular acclaim. Those principles become living principles which have direct impact on people's livelihoods, people's way of becoming active civic citizens. You can elevate that to the point where you have a right of recall over your MP. If so many, the million signatures that were for a constitution, you can have 100,000 signatures which said, we voted you in, get the hell out. Okay? You can, all that kind of thing. And that is precisely the kind of incremental process that we must engage with, but an incremental process which seeks from the beginning to understand that we have a deep imbalance in power, structural and systemic imbalance in power, and whatever we do must have that in view and begin to correct that. Democracy is not about equality. If you're a billionaire and I'm not a billionaire and we all have equal right to talk, that is not equality. Democracy has to be a redress of inequality. It is a tool in the hands of the powerless to contain and roll back power. That is how you achieve equality and so on. Otherwise, you get the kind of frustrations that we saw express itself in Washington, D.C. yesterday on Martin Luther King Day, when Mr. Trump is the kind of person who comes into power and so on and so forth. Because democracy doesn't deliver. It's not a problem alone here. This is a crisis that we're facing. That inequality and that kind of devaluation of people's lives is rampant. That is the first thing that we must begin to correct.
Thank you so much.
Martin Pebu says they have not come to drone your house. Martin Pebu says they have not come to drone your house.
Don't mind him.
He said Martin Pebu says they have not come to drone your house.
Don't mind him.
He said they've not done anything.
He should say.
But Speaker has now suspended 3 of your people. But Speaker has now suspended 3 of your people. And I understand that there's been some meetings going on. Martin Pebu says they have not come to drone your house.
Don't mind him.
He said they've not done anything.
He should say he doesn't know.
No, he says he knows.
No, if he says, he knows what?
He's oral. He's an executive member of oral.
Do you know what? I have a lot of respect for Martin. I don't want to have such issue with him. He's a respected learned colleague. And if he doesn't know, fine. But if he knows and he wants to come into the public space to deny, I leave it to his conscience.
Martin Pebu says they have not come to drone your house.
Don't mind him.
He said they've not done anything.
He should say he doesn't know.
No, he says he knows.
No, if he says, he knows what?
He's oral. He's an executive member of oral.
Do you know what? I have a lot of respect for Martin. I don't want to have such issue with him. He's a respected learned colleague. And if he doesn't know, fine. But if he knows and he wants to come into the public space to deny, I leave it to his conscience.
Martin Pebu says they have not come to drone your house.
Don't mind him.
He said they've not done anything.
He should say he doesn't know.
No, he says he knows.
No, if he says, he knows what?
He's oral. He's an executive member of oral.
Do you know what? I have a lot of respect for Martin. I don't want to have such issue with him. He's a respected learned colleague. And if he doesn't know, fine. But if he knows and he wants to come into the public space to deny, I leave it to his conscience.
Martin Pebu says they have not come to drone your house.
Don't mind him.
He said they've not done anything.
He should say he doesn't know.
No, he says he knows.
No, if he says, he knows what?
He's oral. He's an executive member of oral.
Do you know what? I have a lot of respect for Martin. I don't want to have such issue with him. He's a respected learned colleague. And if he doesn't know, fine. But if he knows and he wants to come into the public space to deny, I leave it to his conscience.
Martin Pebu says they have not come to drone your house.
Don't mind him.
He said they've not done anything.
He should say he doesn't know.
No, he says he knows.
No, if he says, he knows what?
He's oral. He's an executive member of oral.
Do you know what? I have a lot of respect for Martin. I don't want to have such issue with him. He's a respected learned colleague. And if he doesn't know, fine. But if he knows and he wants to come into the public space to deny, I leave it to his conscience.
Sayembra meye wejuma Una o freyen Sayembra meye wejuma Una o freyen Sayembra meye wejuma Yabo Yabo Yaba Inti mira Yesue Mami Shema Mira Yesue Mami Shema Wagana Mayosemimu Erade Mami Shema Mira Yesue Mami Shema Wona wo freyen Seyem Rambe Wejuma Wona wo freyen Seyem Rambe Wejuma Una wo freye. This TV is off. Hi, hello, good evening. Welcome to the show, and it's such a great pleasure to have you on Good Evening Ghana. It's always a pleasure, isn't it? Sorry, we're very late today. Technical issues. We have so many videos to share with you, but I think the videos they had jujued them. They didn't want us to show them, but I think it's all good now. Thank you very much for your time and welcome to the show. You caught me singing one of the favorite apostolic songs of old. It's entitled, the meaning to which is that you have called me unto your work, and so give me the unction and the anointing to do it. It's an Akan song, and it sounds like this. Wona wo freyeng, seyem rambeye wejuma. Wona wo freyeng, seyem rambeye wejuma. Wona wo freyeng, Seyem Rameye Wejuma Yabo Yabo Yaba Enti Mira Yesue Mami Shema Mira Yesue Mami Shema wo Kristo abraboimu Erade Mami Shema Mira Yesue Mami Shema wo Kristo abraboimu Erade Mami Shema Mira Yesue Mami Shema wo Kristo abraboimu. There's another apostolic song. You know, Sam George is an elder of the church, and there's an apostolic song that we all like. A lot of senior people, they like it. It's a very old apostolic song. Now, this song is so significant because it connects the message of salvation to the message of eternity. So it's kind of interesting. So that once you have salvation, you are being prepared for eternity. Again, it's an account song. And I'm sure that Sam George knows it. Sam George, I don't know whether he comes from that old apostolic. He's a modern charismatic. And so is the former SU president of Presec, Okujeto Ablakwa, my friend. Sammy and Sammy. Oh, Sammy. Ah, Sammy. Those of you who saw the flyer, you know what I mean. This is, oh, Sammy. This is, ah, Sammy. Okay, I'm going to get more serious and we'll get into the details. But what's the song I was talking about? It goes like this. Sabre orisiesie yen. Sabre orisiesie bebia manemba yebese no. Say Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba. Yeah, I'm missing one photograph here. Producer, we talked about one photograph. It's not here. Yene no bese. Sabre orisiesie yen. Sabre orisiesie bebia manemba yebese no. Say Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba. Yene no bese. Sabre orisiesie yen. Sabre orisiesie bebia manemba yebese no. Say Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba. Yene no bese.
Well, because watch this. I'm telling you, what we are doing right now. I want you to stand. Let me show you something. Just stand. If I'm in opposition, just face this way. If I'm in opposition and you are in office, I hold your leg like that. Try to move.
Yeah.
Try to move.
I cannot move.
Try to do something. You are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I will make sure I circumvent you and sabotage you until you leave office.
Wow.
And when you also come,
same thing.
I will also do the same to you. So I don't wish you well, you don't wish me well. So the nation is bleeding. The nation is bleeding. What we are doing right now, we are not going anywhere. Because watch this, I'm telling you, what we are doing right now, I want you to stand. Let me show you something. Just stand. If I'm in opposition, just face this way. If I'm in opposition and you are in office, I hold your leg like that. Try to move.
Yeah.
Try to move.
I cannot move.
Try to do something. You are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I will make sure I circumvent you and sabotage you until you leave office.
Wow.
And when you also come,
same thing.
I will also do the same to you. So I don't wish you well, you don't wish me well. So the nation is bleeding. The nation is
bebia manemba yebese no. Say Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba. Yene no bese. Sabre orisiesie yen. Sabre Yesu risiesie bebia manemba yebese no. Say Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba. Yene no bese. Yebese no. Say Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba. Yene no bese. Sabre orisiesie yen. Sabre orisiesie bebia manemba yebese no. Say Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba. Yene no bese. People are sending me texts. Apostle, worship leader, your voice is no good. Stop the singing. Da 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 da. Sabre orisiesie yeah. Sammy, how are you? Sabre orisiesie. So orisiesie yen is to say the Lord is preparing us for the it's not the resurrection. You see, so in Revelation 13, I think, it says when the Messiah is ultimately coming down after all the victories, and he's coming down onto earth, hoping to arrive in Jerusalem, those of us, the righteous who are living, we will be caught up in the heavens with the Messiah, and will obtain a new heavenly body. Now, if you want to be caught up, you remember the resurrection, the Messiah, Jesus Christ. When he was going to heaven, the Bible reports that he stood on a mountain, and then from there he took off. So it would appear that if we have to be caught up, all of us will be caught up, whether you are in the grave. Even those in the grave, their bodies will be quickened by the Holy Spirit and the power of the resurrection. Everybody in the grave, those on earth who are not dead yet, they will be caught up. Now, if you want to be caught up, should you be standing on the hill so that it's easier? Everybody will go because the Holy Spirit has taken you. Even those 6 feet down will come up. But if you want to give yourself a nice advantage, maybe you can be on the hills, the hill. But if you're on the hill, are you going to be renting or are you going to be paying? Sabre, Orisese bebia manemba yebese no se Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba yene no bese. Many people like that video. This one, see it. Funny from, funny from, funny from, funny, funny from Allah. Oh yeah, Allah. Oh yeah, funny from Allah. Oh yeah, Allah. Oh yeah, funny from Allah. Oh yeah, Allah. Oh yeah, funny from Allah. Yes, ye baby, man, nemba ye bese no se Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba ye ne no bese. We're almost ready to start. Sabre oris yes, yeah. I'm just waiting for the IT people to give me a signal. Sabre oris yes, baby, man, nemba ye bese no se Yesu Christo nyame ba no ba. Yene no bese. Ye bese no se Yesu Christo nyame. Okay, all signals ready. We're about to start. Ready. Okay, let's do that one and we go.
Now you be oga. Oh, good evening. Now you be oga. Good evening. Now you be oga.
Good evening, Ghana. I simply love it.
Now you be oga. Oh, good evening. Now you be oga. Good evening. Now you be oga.
Of course, I'm sad. Yes, I'm sad. Why won't you be sad? When young, brilliant men like these form the leadership of our politics, you get excited. But then you get sad when you see some of these things. I mean, what happened at my friend Sami Ablakwa's vetting was very disturbing. I mean, what is the point? Well, I mean, Sami, that's why I put a title. I said, oh, Sami. Sami, what is the point? You are a hard-working man. You're a member of parliament. You went to Presec, the best school in the world. You are fine. Nobody can begrudge you for having what you have. Nobody says you stole it. I know you don't steal it. Your friends know you didn't steal it. Once you get into government, you might get a favor. It happens everywhere in the world. In America, they tell their politicians that if you get a favor, please disclose it to the State Department. If the favor is from a foreigner. If the favor is from an American, please disclose it here. But know that you can't take more than this as a favor. Why are you doing this, Sammy? Why? How do you look at all of us Ghanaians, young, old, your friends, campaigners, and tell us that you are renting a property at Airport Hills? I mean, how? Why, Sammy, why? Why do you take us for granted like that? I mean, do you think that we are, what do you take us for? No, we are happy that you live at Airport Hills. You know, I'll say something. There was a pastor, he spoke to me, and a producer, please watch this part and take it out from the thing. There's a pastor. Viewers, when I say take it out, I mean from the package that we are doing. We have some way we do it, so they understand. I don't mean that it will not be broadcast. It's broadcast, you can have it. I'm going to say, there's a pastor who spoke to me, and I don't want to mention his name, but as I say, you might know his name. He calls me Uncle Paul, because he's a very senior pastor. One day he said, Uncle Paul, you know why I like Duncan Williams? I said, no, tell me why you like Duncan Williams. He said, I like Duncan Williams because he had the boldness as a pastor to go and stay at Trasaco. Once Duncan Williams went to stay at Trasaco Valley with the boldness that I'm a pastor, I'm a man of God, God has blessed me, and I have bought a house in Trasaco. This pastor was telling me, this pastor was living at Trasaco at the time he was talking to me. He said, since Duncan Williams went there, other pastors have now had the boldness to go there because everybody is afraid of what people will say. And he was paying tribute to Duncan Williams for that. End of the Duncan Williams story. So, Samuel Kujeto has a house in Airport Hills. And then he says that he's renting it. He went to the appointment committee and told Afenyo Makin that he's renting it. I mean, why? Samuel Kujeto, why? The house is for you. What's the point? There are many things you could have said. But anyway, for those of you viewers who didn't follow, you don't know what I'm talking about, you are not sure what has been happening, here's the video from the appointment committee hearing when questions were asked of my friend, the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, how he got his house or where he lives or something like that. See what he said, and then we'll come back and analyze it. Have a look.
Now, you've also indicated you have 2 email addresses, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Then you have indicated home address, number 1, Wilshire Boulevard, Airport Hills. This property at Airport Hills, how long have you been living at Airport Hills?
About 8 years.
Is it your own property?
No, I am renting. I'm a tenant.
Airport Hills is dollar rented zone. Are you aware?
Honorable Member, can we have a clarification of dollar rented? Because in Ghana, we use cedi. So I don't understand a dollar rented property. Does it mean you pay the rent in dollars?
Not necessarily.
I mean...
Okay. Okay, Honorable Member. So your rent, do you pay it monthly or you pay it annually?
Well, it depends. And Chair, I don't know if you want me to share the tenancy agreement with you, even though I will have to
don't proceed.
Seek the permission of my dear wife, because we do it together.
Don't proceed. It is not in the interest of the company to be demanding for your tenancy agreement, let alone determining how much you pay as rent.
Okay. Well, I mean,
that is personal.
I like to be transparent. So
but that is personal.
But I respect your ruling, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, you heard that. What's the point? What's this? How do you come and tell all of us Ghanaians that we are either not... I mean, I don't know what he means. You are telling the people of Ghana that you are renting a house in a place like this. This is our depiction of Airport Hills. We are hearing all sorts of things about Airport Hills, that they don't even have a rent policy. They don't allow rent. And then Sami Ablakwa comes to Vetten and tells Ghana that he, the young, brilliant guy, 40 years old, he has been renting a property at Airport Hills. So what does he say journalists doing? All journalists are now finding out what is the rent of property at Airport Hills. There's a high suspicion that he was not telling the truth. And I'll show you my interview with Afenyo Markin coming up on this show when you see it. Also, Ransford Jampo is at Shippers Council. I've had a conversation with him. I have a major editorial on the Ransford Jampo conversation. We'll come to that in a minute. Okay, so this is Ablakwa's, this is the depiction of Airport Hills. Every house in Airport Hills doesn't have those houses that, lends itself to rent, like flat apartments and that kind of thing. Every house is a huge, big house. 65% of the houses have swimming pool. Those who don't have swimming pool have courtyard. They are beautiful houses. It's one of Ghana's showpiece. Congratulations to the people who did it. That is where Sami Ablakwa lives. It's the choicest place to live. Then he comes to Parliament and says, I've been living there for 8 years and renting for 8 years. This is the chairman of Operation Recover or Loot, who is now giving people suspicion about where he gets his money. I don't have any suspicion about it because I understand that politicians get favors. Not just politicians, Unilever chairman will get favor, Guinness managing director will get favor, Airtel MD of Coca-Cola, people get favors. So you have been a minister for 8 years, under Professor Mills 4 years, and Professor John Mahama 4 years. You are likely to get a favor. If you have a house at Airport Hills, tell us that this is the favor I got. But you come to tell the whole world that we are all something. So you tell us that you are renting a property. Let's go to the figures of the rent and see what it is. Let's go to the figures. I mean, this is not good. You really disappointed everyone who really loves you. This is terrible. And my concern is the people who work with him. I mean, I've been in that situation before, working with ministers who are going to Vetten. I've done that before. I've done that more than once. So you are working with people going to Vetten, you anticipate the questions, and then you look at it. You don't create questions that make people feel that you are telling them that they are children, that you are looking at all of us, our face. I mean, when Sami was nominated for foreign ministry, I saw that he did two important things that were very good. He went to see Obed Asamoah. That one is NDC. It's very good, but you can even overlook it. The one that was actually very good was going to see Ambassador D.K. Osei. I thought those were excellent. Now, Sami, you are looking at Dr. Obed Asamoah, Ambassador D.K. Osei, Ambassador Victor Beho, all of these people, and the Ghanaian people who are watching you, that you are our new foreign minister, and you are telling us that you are renting at Airport Hills for 8 years. You don't own a house in the world. You are only renting, and your place of choice of rent is the most expensive address in Accra. That is the place that you choose to rent a house, and you have been renting it for 8 years, and you live there with your family, and you are renting it. I mean, how? What are you telling us, Honorable Foreign Minister? What are you telling us? What are you telling us? That you are renting. This is the avatar of anti-corruption. Sami Ablakwa is the avatar of anti-corruption. This is the guy who says he has saved by his anti-corruption measures X millions of dollars to Ghana. It may be true, and I congratulate him for that. But here it is. When you mount the podium, you are telling all of us that you don't care about us, you don't care about how we think, you don't care about our sentiments. We should go to hell because you are renting a property for 8 years as a member of parliament. 8 solid years you are renting. Put the figures up. Let's see what the rent is looking like. So Google rent at Airport Hills, viewers. And then, okay, so this is A Hills, our depiction of it. Now, here it is. So assuming that Honorable Ablakwa is paying 8,000 cedis a month. Now, from our search, Airport Hills, if you want to rent it, we know nobody's renting, but if you want to rent it, you look at the value of the house, the things in the house, and the estate managers calculated for us that if you look at a basic house in Airport Hills, your rent should be between $6,000 and $10,000 a month. Okay, so we went to take the middle. We took $8,000 a month. So at $8,000 a month, Sami Ablakwa told the appointments committee that he's renting at Airport Hills. The appointments committee is yes to obtain his tenancy agreement, but we are assuming what the tenancy agreement could be based on what we see at Airport Hills. Honorable is on $8,000 a month for rent. He's paying that to his landlord. That's Honorable's landlord, pretty emoji, and that's Honorable. Okay, let's move on. Honorable's rent should, for a year, if he's paying that a month, should be 96,000 United States dollars. That's Honorable. That's how much Honorable Sami Ablakwa pays to his landlord as rent per year, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and this year I'm sure he has already paid 24. He pays 96,000 a month. That's Honorable Ablakwa. That's what he told Parliament, and this is what we are deducing from it. All right. Next is that Parliament pays Honorable Ablakwa 15,000, and 15,000 cedis a month is what Honorable gets. Quite a decent salary, I have to say. Many Ghanaians don't get that. Assuming that 15,000 is $1,000, and the rent over 8 years is over 8 years. Now, if we make 15,000 $1,000 from whenever it was paid, now you have to put in the gaps. You know, when we do an equation, the gaps in it, because 15,000 was not always $1,000. You understand? But the value of $1,000 was always what 15,000 can buy. You get it, viewers. Whatever $1,000 could buy then, it can buy it now. But the $1,000 then was reading 5,000. Today to reach 15,000. So we've taken care of all of that. All of that put together, we will assume that he's paying 768,000 as his salary, $786,000, and his salary for 8 years is $96,000. So we're asking the question: how did he make ends meet? This is the reason why people are saying that the special prosecutor should come into the conversation. I don't know. I'm not interested in going and taking special prosecutor, but the sheer disrespect for Ghanaians. That's what I'm concerned about. That the young man who is doing quite well in politics, Samuel Kujito Ablakwa, will come to. This is not the first time Ablakwa has been at the appointments committee. This is not the first time he's been at the appointments committee. We've forgotten. They were all at the appointments committee in 2013. But the MPP boycotted because they were fighting Akufo-Addo's election petition. So MPP boycotted. That's why we don't remember. Ablakwa has been at vetting before. He was there. I want to see it. He was there. He was being vetted for. He's been to vetting twice already. 2009, he was vetted for Deputy Minister of Information, and 2013, he was vetted for Deputy Minister of Education. He's been there twice already. 2013, one we don't remember. 2009, I was there. 2013, I was there too. This is not the first time he's being vetted, so he's quite familiar with vetting, and he knows that he's speaking under oath. And then you come under oath and come and tell us, all the Ghanaian people, that you, Samuel Kujito Ablakwa, you are renting. You are renting at Airport Hills for that amount of money. So, I mean, it is this. I was embarrassed. Not because it has nothing to do with NDC or MPP. No. But why will a young man come and tell? I mean, look at all the people in Ghana. Politicians, your seniors in politics, your juniors in politics, the chiefs, Asante Hini, Gamanche, Yan, all these people are interested in the nomination, the appointments hearing, and the nomination hearings of the Minister for Foreign Affairs to be. All of these people are interested. If you are Asante Hini, you are interested in who is going to be the Foreign Minister of Ghana. If you are Yana, you are interested in who is going to be the Foreign Minister of Ghana. If you are the judge, Domahini, you are interested in who wants to be president, who has been nominated by the president to be foreign minister. And Ablakwa knew that all of these important people, non-important people, rank and file, everybody in Ghana is interested in who is our foreign minister. You come and sit at the appointment committee on all television networks and almost insult the intelligence of people by telling them that you are renting a house at Airport Hills for 8 years. You are renting. I mean, why? How? Anyway, no problem. We're here. We can't do much. Franklin Cudjoe has something to say about this, didn't he? What did he say? Here's Franklin Cudjoe. He said, the failure of some nominees to prove their sources of finance apart from their salaries as MPs says a lot about campaign financing in Ghana. They all win safe seats. How? Dennis Asare is being asked, or Franklin Cudjoe's statements attributed to Dennis Asare. He said, this is Franklin. Honorable Alexander shows leadership again. Secondly, it is interesting that the chairman of Oral wouldn't be allowed by the vetting committee chairman to discuss his properties openly, but can discuss others in the open. This is the problem. Thank you very much, Franklin Cudjoe. Thank you. Imani, I was going to call our civil society. That has civil society not heard that the foreign affairs minister says that he has been renting a plush property with his own money for 8 years, amounting to almost $1 million. That's what the foreign minister says. That's what he told Parliament, that he doesn't own a house. He doesn't want to own a house, but he chooses to pay rent at the most expensive address in Ghana. That's what he told. He's 40 years old, brilliant young man. He chooses to pay rent at the most expensive address in Ghana, and he's the one. Let me read Franklin Kujo again. He says, Honorable Alexander shows, that's Afenyo Makin is referring to. Honorable Alexander shows leadership again. Secondly, it is interesting that the chairman of Oral wouldn't be allowed by the chairman of the committee, the first deputy speaker, the Right Honorable Ahiafo. He will not allow the people, the vetting committee, for the chairman of Oral to discuss his properties openly. But the chairman of Oral has a role to discuss other people's properties. Ablakwa discusses everybody's properties unless he doesn't know it. And he comes to tell the Ghanaian people that, oh, I don't care what you think. I'm renting the house. What will you do? If I'm not registered, whose money is lost? That thing they do. When politicians, they do that and you catch them, they say whose money is lost. That's what they do. That's what Ablakwa is saying. He's telling all of us that we all should go and to sleep somewhere. He is renting a house at airports. What will you do? You can't do anything about it. But I felt sad that, when young people, he's a brilliant young man, 40 years old, foreign minister. This is what we need. This is what we need. This is what we all need. But you don't come as foreign minister at this time, which is what we need, and come and insult us this way. Come and just insult the whole everybody. You come and insult everybody. You tell us, Ghanaians, that you, foreign minister, you are renting a house at Airport Hills for 8 years. Almost $1 million is what you have paid to your rent, and you don't want to own a house. You don't own it. $1 million can do about 8 homes or 9 homes. $1 million can build about 9 homes. Ask the people who do real estate. $1 million, he can build about 9 homes with swimming pool. He says that he has committed that money to rent. He has paid rent. He doesn't own a house, he's paid rent. I think that's for whatever it's worth, Sami should come back and apologize and do his foreign ministry work. We will all support him. He's our youngest foreign minister. We will support him. Why not? But he should come out and say, I could have said it in a different way. I didn't say it the way I should have said it. It's okay. Everybody will leave it. We are here to move Ghana forward. We are not here to pull Ghana back. We are here to move Ghana forward. And Ghana has a government. And the government is in place. Why do you come and tell us this story? I'm renting. And now, as the checks continue, people are finding out the owner of the property. There are allegations that the property belongs to your younger sister. It is too messy. What is this? That the property now belongs to your younger sister. That's what they are alleging. That Airport Hills people, they don't do rent. What is this? Who was advising them? And I don't see how complicated this should be. You are going to vetting. You live at Airport Hills, which is the address that you have used. You go to vetting, say, yes, I live at Airport Hills. The house is for me. When I was a minister, I had somebody who helped me to get the land. Another person helped me to build the house. I was so young. Everybody appreciated my age, youth, and also working very hard. Professor Mills all the time talked to me about how he was grateful for Sami Ablakwa's service to his government. When I met Professor Mills, he told me that, have you seen Sami? Oh, he's doing so well. That's what Professor Mills said to me. He was Deputy Minister of Information. In fact, I called him. If you would remember, David Lamptey got me to call him and we started talking. Because Professor Mills spoke to me. David Lamptey was there. He said, have you seen your man, Ablakwa? I'm so happy with him. Ablakwa was Deputy Minister at the time. He wasn't even the minister. So yes, at that time, young man, 20-something, 30-something, people will help you. So you can tell the appointment committee the truth. That people helped me and I got it. It's not normal for a person like me to have Airport Hills, but I had grace. I was blessed. I got some businessmen who helped me. Who in the appointments committee will fall to this? Which Ghanaian will fall to this? Which Ghanaian will say no? But if you come and tell us a property that you own, that you are renting, and you've been renting it to the point of $1 million, oh boy, Ablakwa. Why? Why, Sami? Why? Why? You can't do this. You can't bring down the blue flag. And people who don't know the blue flag, I'm going to show it to you. Sami, you are bringing down the blue flag. We can't do that. We are in different political persuasions. No problem about that. But we have the blue flag. We have to focus on the blue flag and make it work. Why? Oh, we have to take our places in the future of our country. That's how we were raised. take our places in the future of our country. Here you are, taking the place as the first pre-sec foreign minister, 40 years old, fantastic. And then you come and tell the Ghanaian people that you are renting a house. You who has been standing on your high horse screaming about Brian Champon is a thief, this one is a thief, everybody's a thief. You have been renting a house for 8 years at almost $1 million. Almost $1 million. Almost $1 million. 15 minutes past the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. I'm coming on to Ransford Jampo right now. Don't go anywhere. What can I do? He's my brother. I can't do anything about it. He's my brother. You can't choose your brother. You know, you can choose your friends, but I can't choose your... This is my brother. Not my friend. So what do I do? In the circumstances, like, I'm so embarrassed. People have been calling, you see your man? You see your man? I said, ooh, what are we going to do about this? But Sami, but why? This is simple. You just tell the Ghanaian people that somebody gave it to me or whatever. If they ask you that who gave it to you, tell them that Zoom Lion gave it to me. They are going to ask Zoom Lion that did you give Sami a house? He'll say, yes, I did. What are you going to do about that? But don't come and tell the Ghanaian people a story that makes the Ghanaian people feel that this guy, what does he take us for? What does this guy take us for? You can't do that. But as I said, he's my brother. I can't help it. So we have prepared a montage for him. Sami, proud of you. Congratulations. May you succeed as foreign minister. But this one is very bad. Just come and sort this out. Sort this out for us. And you sort it out, we're good. Foreign minister, I salute. Congratulations, sir. Give it to him. Or that dear. What can we say? Odadie, in Lubenito, Videbimos Lumen. Antoinette, what are people saying?
People seem to have a lot to say about the parliamentary vetting, especially that of Ablakwa. Alex Nyako says, Paul, our elders usually say that he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Honorable Afenyo Marken is only interested in exposing Honorable Sam George and Honorable Ablakwa. These people are not as clean as they claim in terms of corruption. How they made their money is completely questionable. Now, Banu Baked says, he who seeks equity must come with clean hands once again. He says, in light of this principle, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa's position as chairman has been called into question. To ensure transparency and accountability, it is imperative that he steps down and submit himself to further investigation by the Office of Special Prosecutor. This action would demonstrate his commitment to upholding the highest standards of integrity and fairness. Now, Yao February says, we Ghanaians just saw that this transpired in Parliament for the minority members withdrawing from the approval of the new Samuel Nate George and Honorable Ablakwa. The minority members were very keen and candid in apologizing to Honorable Sam George and the Clerk of Appointment Committee, but he did not apologize to former President Nana Akufo-Addo over the several unsubstantiated allegations in opposition when queried at the Appointment Committee. Now, Citizen Francis commenting on the vetting said, the answers the incoming ministers are given at the vetting clearly shows that the NPP government wasn't a failure after all, but rather people grew tired of them and voted them out. Now, interestingly, Honorable Ablakwa is now praising the Ghana card, which was initially championed by Dr. Baumia, and he plans to use it for passport issuance. It's very ironic that they are now considering continuing the NPP's initiatives, despite previously criticizing it so badly. Now, lastly, Solomon Asante-Boadu, he calls himself the philosopher. He says, for in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Over to you.
All right, so Yao February says, the majority members and the NDC government should take into consideration of the tick for tack or no 9, no 10 beliefs and calm the minority members in doing government business in order for a friendly in consensus building in this 9th Parliament. Now, Robert Jacobs says, the wicked Ablakwa is now heavily being exposed. You should be ashamed of yourself, watching from Chicago, Illinois, USA. Now, Samuel Ba says, this is what many people are reluctant to say. Honorable Samuel Ablakwa has integrity and transparency problems. I never knew he was a cowardly politician in the jurisdiction. Toothless oral chairman. And Nana Boateng says, good evening, Paul. Sami Okudzeto Ablakwa and Sam George are two musketeers, disrespectful and arrogant. On top of that, they have corrupt records and can't be bold to own up to their properties. A bunch of corruptioneers. Yeah. Okay, so what do you have for us?
Okay, from Guma, he says, Honorable Samuel Ablakwa has done a great disservice to his conscience. He is all over preaching against corruption in the country. I am sure he will suffer mentally for lying to his conscience. God have mercy on him. From Awudu, he says, Mr. Paul, can anyone sue Okudzeto for his conduct? Richard Ansa is saying, Ablakwa, Ghana's future president. Akosia says, Paul, Ablakwa's wife is an industrious woman, so she takes care of him and the family while he uses his salary to pay the rent. From Eric Ichamfo, he says, Mr. Paul, you are a champion. Master Planner says, Honorable Afinyo Makin, we are so proud of you. Leading the mighty minority is not an easy task, but you are making things run smoothly. Keep up the good work, sir. Lastly, from Samuel Fusuba, he says, this evening, I can see the extra joy in Mr. Paul. What have you seen today? Over to you, Paul.
All right, let's get back onto the touch screen and deal with the rounds for Jampo matter, and then we will come and watch the Afinyo Makin interview, except if producer. Well, I have a conversation with A+ to have, isn't it? Maybe we can do that also on Thursday, but I will have a conversation with A+. It's coming up. Let's get onto the touch screen again. And so when the flyer came out today for the show, I was sitting around the office when one of the young guys was bringing me my phone. And then he said, your man is calling you. I said, which man? He said, look at your phone. You know that things that happens in the office when, he said, your man is calling you. So I took the phone runs for Jampo. I said, hey, Chief, how are you? So, Runs for Jampo and I will call each other new nooks. Those of you know, you know. Those who don't know, don't worry. New NUGS. NUGS, N-U-G-S, for National Union of Ghana Students. It means something. So it's a new NUGS. But why? I said, what has happened? He said, but I've seen your flyer. I said, what has happened, Prof? He said, oh, but we have a relationship. You are my brother. Are you going on TV to go and insult me? I said, oh, why would I insult you for what, Chief? I'm doing new NUGS. He said, but your flyer says something. So I paused and I told him what I'm going to say. Then I always do that. I said, no, I can tell you what I'm going to say. This is the analysis I'm going to make. And I told him that I'm very passionate about this. I'm very, very serious. This is not I'm not playing with this. This is very, very serious. When I finished telling us, for example, what I was going to say, he paused and said, Paul, go ahead. I'll be watching. This is very, very important. You have to say it. Go ahead. I'll be watching. So I have the all clear for us, for example, to go ahead. It's coming after the break. This is Good Evening Ghana, and it's live. After the break, there runs, for example, Shipping Council, University of Ghana story, and politics of election 2024. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. This is the biggest story today. I'll be right back.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and IRICOP brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa and the IRICOP with cocoa blend, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and IRICOP organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
This is my secret. Give us P capsules. From now on to me, to my ding one pen. Give us P capsules. Over you as a mama. Or no, enemy lawyer.
And to lawyer, no, show bottom. Are you pro? Again, upon a machine about Siamoa as a Niji.
What's on it?
No. You didn't know I can't wait. If any give us coal capsules. Say yes, it's Yarren the wall, swore. Coal did do nip a dream when in our posa a mamma and Tima Wunja would name wouldn't give us coal capsules. Obey your free
lawyer.
Give us coal capsules.
And I give us P capsules.
Hey, and they give us free.
Obey Chinasuma.
And men what if you do what you do, Cronkwan, Efra. Give us core capsules. A pay for a batter, one more menu for an inquadawin if you do me no come.
Look around. Home also need a makeover. Oh, mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Merchant furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection? Dressing up is just the breeze. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world, or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
a table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashform store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashform, feel it, know it.
This is Coastal Park, a well-demarcated gated community carved out to host your residential and commercial properties. With a minimum of 40,000 Ghana cedis, you too can own a piece of this serene site.
It's just 50 minutes drive from the Central University College, as well as just some 5 minutes drive from the Ningo Senior High School. More so, just in case you live somewhere in Adam and you want to take that excursion to many of those areas along the Volta estuary, this is the right property for you to invest in.
Great news from Estate Masters Limited. We're running a 10% discount promo on all sites to celebrate our 10th anniversary. Join in the celebration by becoming an Estate Master. Enjoy benefits such as free site visits throughout the duration, free indenture, and free site plan. Contact us for more information. Remember, T's and C's apply. Estate Masters Limited, your most preferred estate partner.
You the answer to my prayer. You with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know tonight.
What we are doing right now, we are not going anywhere.
We are
Because
not.
watch this, I'm telling you, what we are doing right now, I want you to stand. Let me show you something. Just stand. If I'm in opposition, just face this way. If I'm in opposition and you are in office, I hold your leg like that. Try to move.
Yeah.
Try to move.
I
Try.
cannot move.
Try. Try to do something. You are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I will make sure I circumvent you and sabotage you until you leave office.
Wow.
And when you also come,
same thing.
I will also do the same to you. So I don't wish you well, you don't wish me well. So the nation is bleeding. The nation is bleeding. What we are doing right now, we are not going anywhere.
We are
Because
not.
watch this, I'm telling you, what we are doing right now, I want you to stand. Let me show you something. Just stand. If I'm in opposition, just face this way. If I'm in opposition and you are in office, I hold your leg like that. Try to move.
Yeah.
Try to move.
I
Try.
cannot move.
Try. Try to do something. You are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I will make sure I circumvent you and sabotage you until you leave office.
Wow.
And when you also come,
same thing.
I will also do the same to you. So I don't wish you well, you don't wish me well. So the nation is bleeding.
So this is Joyce Bauer. Hey, 1 2 1 2 Joyce Bauer. Hey. Okay, so Joyce Bauer is telling that you see how we dealt with the NDC. This is a fire castle. Oh yeah, oh Baba, oh yeah, oh Baba. Hey, Marietta, Attorney General, lawyer, oh Baba. Oh, all three women are lawyers actually. Oh Baba, oh yeah, oh Baba. Oh yeah, la la la, la 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 la, dindi, da da da. We won't know Akufo-Addo is gone. Hey, the Pharaoh is gone. We have won. John Boydu is gone. Hey, la 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 la. Michael Kwe is gone. KKKK, we have taken over. La 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 le. Hey, as for Joyce Bauer, I check her out brutal. Please, lady lawyers, when you are doing the party, hey, this one is the one that kills me. Kaka la la. Hey, this one too is heavy. Hey, funny form. Oh, this is great. This is great. But please, when you are celebrating. Somebody asked me about the video, and I pleaded with the person that I didn't film it and I didn't share it. They filmed it and they shared it. What should we do with that? They filmed it and they shared it. They wanted us to see it, and they want more people to see it. So, I mean, somebody saw me and NDC person say, "You that thing video?" I said, "Oh, please, I didn't film it. I wasn't there. I don't know where it happened, whether it was at Airport Hills or at Ablakwa. I don't know." Professor Jampo. So we had that conversation, and then this is another sad story for me because this is a very serious story, and I'm addressing youth, young people. It's very, very serious, very sad story. Where does the story begin? The story begins with the announcement by government that Professor Ransford Jampo from Solpon has been appointed as the CEO of the Shippers Authority. I congratulate Professor Jampo. Now, give me the slide I was looking for. Let's start the conversation. All right. Oh, I wanted them on the same page. I can't get them on the same page, eh? Yes. Great. This is what I want. So, viewers, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to explain my point. University of Ghana is here. Professor Ransford Jampo is here. Another professor is here. It's not representative of anyone. Just there. Don't worry, there's no one. Another professor is here and a student. Okay. Now, the human resource of the nation is developed from class 0 to class 1 to class 2 to class 3. We are all developing our human resource. After secondary school, we are allowed to branch out because you have basic education. You can go and start being a businessman. You can go and start being a carpenter. You can go and start being a plumber. You can do all that. Some will continue secondary school. After secondary school, some are allowed to branch out. You can join the police. You can join the armed forces. You can join the Navy. Then some go to university. This is the human resource of the country, okay? And then some become professors like Ransford Jampo. Now, we all go through the human resource development channel and then spread out to go and do other things. That then will impact on the nation. And that is why in 2020, Ghana's GDP was 4 billion when Kufuor took over. In 2008, after Kufuor was leaving, Ghana's GDP was 16 billion. Kufuor had grown the GDP times 4 in 8 years. By today, the GDP is 62 billion because the people who have been coming out of those training institutions are moving out and adding up and adding up and adding up and adding up. So all of us who are working in media now, those of us came to work in media in the late 90s, we came to add based on coming from the education that we had been given. And so we added, some of us have opened up a new channel. So I started Good Evening Ghana. I wasn't there. And the time they were doing talking points, I was small, but I came through the educational system. Then I got some skill. I was allowed to branch out, and then Good Evening Ghana came. Another person came and introduced something. So if you look at the media landscape 20 years ago, and you look at the media landscape now, you see that more young people have added. That's the whole point. Adding. Some of us, like Professor Jampo, go to the training institutions to go and be there to be training the young ones. I think their role is the most critical in terms of the future sustainability of a country. For sustainability of a country, the people who are focused on research, like Professor Jampo, are the most important. Because they have to come and tell all of us that your way you are going, it won't work. Singapore went that way, it didn't work. Because he has time. He's sitting in his lecture hall and his office, and he's reading about Singapore's economy. He's reading about Ivory Coast elections. He's reading about Senegal this. He's reading about American that. Tomorrow he's traveled to a conference in America. He's hearing some Guatemala professor talk about this. All of that Ransford Jampo is getting is the reason why we give him a bungalow at the University of Ghana for him to stay there. The reason why we pay him. Now, what Ransford Jampo is doing is important for the development of the nation. I dare say that is more important than some of the other things. Many things are important, but some are more. I mean, the training institutions is the most important. If you go to institutions like the military and the police, the training institution is the most important. The Ghana Military Academy, they call it GAFC, the Ghana Armed Forces Training Schools. It's one of the most important institutions to the military because that's where the future is. The future of the Ghana Armed Forces is at GAFC. The future of the Ghana Police is at the Police Depot Training School. The future of Ghana is at the university, where they are going to churn out the highest quality of brains. Now, if as a country we don't focus on that university, and we don't see that we have to put resources in that university, the difference between America and Ghana is the amount of resources that America will channel directly to its universities for the purpose of research. So why don't we as a country, President Akufo-Addo, President Mahama, President Mills, President Kufuor, President Rawlings, why can't we have a situation where we look at the economic situation in Ghana as they do in every country? No university makes money like that. Some do, but many don't. So the country looks at it. Why can't we decide that Ghana Shapers Authority will pay to political science department every year 60 million cedis for research for political science? The president of Ghana, who controls the purse in Ghana, all of which goes to the consolidated fund, all of that is controlled by the president of Ghana. The president of Ghana should be able to say that, look, political science, I'm giving you 50 million cedis every year. With that 50 million, I want every lecturer there to have a PhD, pay for it. With that 50 million, I want lecturers to write an article, a development article once a month. So Ransford Jampo teaches Poly 204, or he teaches international politics. He's expected to write an article every month about the latest in international politics and feed it to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to Sami Okudzeto Ablakwa. That's what we, if we're a serious country, that's what we should do. So Ransford Jampo says political science. He knows that every year, 50 million will come from Shippers Council to political science. 50 million will come from Volta River Authority, VRA, to KVAS. 50 million will come from Tamale Refinery to KNUST, the engineering school. In fact, KNUST come from GMPC. Every year, the president of Ghana should levy GMPC, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, 100 million cedis to be given to KNUST for the purpose of research. Shippers Authority, they should be made to pay 50 million to the University of Ghana to be shared among Dr. Lloyd Amwell's department, Asian. Look at Lloyd Amwell's department. It is so important. It is so important. We don't pay any money there. Today, America is talking with China and they are fighting on tariffs. Lloyd Amwell's department should be able to develop a paper and tomorrow morning hand it over to President Mahama. Come back the next day to meet President Mahama and his team for Lloyd Amwell and the dons of Legon who are doing Asian studies to tell the government that, look, this trade thing Trump is talking about in America, this is where Ghana should position itself. Lloyd Amwell has all the information in his head. He's sitting at the University of Ghana. Nobody calls him. And no president is channeling money to the University of Ghana. So you are going to have Ransford Jampo depart from the University of Ghana and go to Shippers Authority. I think Ransford Jampo must go to Shippers Authority. But if Ransford Jampo wins Shippers Authority as chairman of the board, so that he can keep his chair at the University of Ghana, continue to teach at the University of Ghana, chair Shippers Authority, connects industry with academia. It's important that we must have to start having these professors in so they can understand what has to happen. Because sometimes the university is too aloof on the ivory tower. They don't get into industry. So it's a beautiful thing. And I congratulate President Mahama for that, thinking about bringing professors in. But this is the catch. So Ransford Jampo should be able to have one leg at Shippers Council, another leg at the University of Ghana. Or the Shippers Authority should be made by the president to pay money to political science. Get me back that one. Now let me tell you what's going to happen, viewers, if we don't check this. If we don't check this, what's going to happen? Another professor is here. Have you seen him? The last time I saw Professor Jampo was about November, just 5 weeks or so to the election. It was at Dr. Osaya Oduchum's office. I went there early in the morning. You know, Oduchum, you have to see me early in the morning. I went there early in the morning to do something. So when I got there, I saw Professor Jampo. Then, new nooks, I said, what are you doing here early morning? He said, oh, we came with UTAG. We are come to see your man. And I said, Charlie, when you go, be soft on him. Or he said, won't be soft on him. You have to go and go talk to him. They said, new nooks, can you pull me aside? He said, but why are you looking handsome like that? I said, hey, but why? He said, is it the money or what? I said, which money? He said, but you have money, Charlie. He said, the system is hard. We talk like that. We are friends. I said, I don't have money, but you know, And we talked. Why should a university professor even have a casual conversation with his friend, former colleagues at the university about money? Shouldn't be. Professor of political science. We can't take care of them. We can't direct the money hanging around in all of those places to go to the universities for research. So Ransford Jampo is going to Shippers Council. Tomorrow he will go, he's on secondment. He's not left the university on secondment. So he still will live at the university place. He'll have a new car, a Land Cruiser. That's what the CEOs get, Land Cruiser. He'll get a Land Cruiser. He'll be wheeling around the school. Ransford Jampo is very stylish, you know. So you will feel it. You will feel the Land Cruiser. The other professor here is looking at Ransford Jampo's Land Cruiser. And he has heard me talking here. He calls me and says, Paul, how are you? We're all in the political science together. Ransford Jampo was 1 year behind me. He was 1 year ahead of me. We're all together. We're all there. We're all Michael Quay's boys. We're all there. So that's how far I know Ransford Jampo. And then he tells me that I was watching you on TV the other day. Chala Fenyomakin did well, oh, but you know, I can develop a paper for him. The point that he was making about VRA, he didn't quite get it right. I can develop a paper for him and then I can break it down into several pieces. So I said, oh yeah, why not? Develop a paper. So I called leader. I said, leader, Charlie's from my professor guy. He says he has filler for you, pal. So let him bring it. We go to leader's office. He show it to him. He says, oh, Charlie, this guy is good. Leader carries it over. He goes into his meetings. He shows it. Who is that? He says, Charlie, some professor at Legon Gate. Charlie, the guy is good, pa. Is he with us? So he said, professor. But I said, no, bring him. I'm telling you the conversations that happen in opposition. He takes it to Muhammadu Baumia. Baumia is a scholar already. He sees a professor. Oh, Charlie, this is good. Professor, they are happy. Then he starts writing the ills of John Mahama's government. Then the people in the MPP, we get Joy FM to call him. So Joy FM starts calling him, Professor Bwedi Boateng from University of Ghana. Yes, Professor, hi. Kojo Yankson, you know how his voice is smooth. This is a prof is here. Prof, what's happening? Oh, this is devastating. The economy is in shambles. I don't know why President Mahama is doing that. You know, because here at the University of Ghana, that's when they are calling them fake neutrals. So he says that. And the effect of what he says, whilst they are true, is that the image of the opposition leader, Muhammadu Baumia, is rising, and the image of the government is going down. At the end of the day, everything done. He calls me, Paul. I say, yes, sir. He said, hey, congratulations, MPP won. I say, good. He said, Charlie, you have to tell leader. Oh. I say, I call leader. He doesn't pick. I know when the victory comes, people don't pick their phone. I call him, he doesn't pick. I go to his house. I say, I need to talk to you. He say, why? I say, Charlie, that's our professor. He say, what does he want? Yesterday, I was with the old man. I said, Cocoa board. He said, Cocoa board is gone. I said, which one? Charlie, we have to give the guy something. The guy helped us. Pow. He said, hey, let's go back to the old man. Let's go and try and change the cocoa board for him. That's what happens. That's what is happening right now. Me, I'm inside. I know. I can share with. That's what happens. So we go back to the old man and say, Chief, Charlie, you know the professor, your friend. He said, yeah, where is he? Charlie, the guy, he has some analysis about cocoa futures. I said, oh, really? The guy is very good. We think he can run cocoa board. He said, okay, go and get him. I call Prof. I say, Prof, it's done. He said, yeah, Charlie, come for your letter. Why is he looking for a letter? Because Ransford Jampo brought the Land Cruiser from cheapest authority. Why can't cheapest authority's money and cocoa board's money be directed to the University of Ghana so that our distinguished professors, those who have set out themselves to be professors, Ransford Jampo wants to be a university teacher. I know him. That's what he wants. He doesn't want anything, but he wants to survive. He doesn't want to be a pauper as a university teacher. And he's brilliant. He is. So that's the guy wants to be a university teacher. Let him be a university teacher. Facilitate it. As a society, we have to be serious. It may not happen in President Mahama's term, but the young people must start discussing it. And those of us who talk about constitutional amendment, let's find out whether we can do it. Now here is the young lady. The young lady is here. This young lady who has entered the University of Ghana, she came from Holy Child. She got 9 A's, as all the Holy Child people usually get, isn't it? They're going to kill me, don't worry. Only Holy Child gets 9 A's, other people don't get. So she got 9 A's from Holy Child, yeah? She comes to University of Ghana. I can assure you, viewers, and it's very sad. Her ambition is 2 things: either to be a TikToker or to win beauty pageants. She's not interested in MPhil research. She's not interested in PhD research. She doesn't care about it. It's useless to her. But this is a brilliant girl who's gotten 8 A's. Should we let her into TikTok at this age? TikTok is great. But at this age, should we let her into TikTok? Or should we develop her fine brain so that she can become an MPhil researcher for Professor Jampo? Why? Because Professor Jampo's office is receiving 3 million of the 50 million every year it comes. And Professor Jampo can speak freely because no president can come and change it. If you're a president and during the campaign, say you are John Mahama or Akufo-Addo, and during the campaign, Rance, for example, said that you won't win and you're a bad president and you win and then you come and cancel the grant, you can't. The law should fix it that no president can change it so that the academic person is free to think. Those who have elected to think for us, that's for us, for example, the professors, they have elected to think for us. So today, we are in search of thinking for constitutional amendment. President Mahama must go and call Kwesi Prempeh and set up a committee. It's wrong. It doesn't happen in any serious society. President Mahama would have called political science and law, faculty of law, faculty of political science, bring us advice on constitutional amendment, send it to the speaker. That's it. Because every year we are paying faculty of law 60 million from VRA. We are paying political science 60 million cedis from Shippers Authority. We must get serious in this country. Otherwise, we are not going anywhere. So you see the phenomenon of for example, will continue and continue and continue and continue. Why are we doing that to ourselves? Let's get serious about academia. It is so important. Let's get serious about research. Let's have people who are thinking. The difference between us and America is that they are thinking and they place a premium on their thinkers. We don't place a premium on our thinkers. We place a premium elsewhere. Let's place the premium on our foremost thinkers. Let's not start drawing our professors from the university to Shippers Authority. They'll be going to VRA, tomorrow Cocoa Board. We are finished as a country. We are done. We are finished. They are gone. They are all going. And it's easy to go because they are brilliant. So campaign comes, they can think. Campaign is about thinking. So they think for the campaign, then they work in the government. Then they think for the campaign, then they work in the government. If we need to stem the tide, we need to be very intentional about how we resource the universities for the purpose of research. Look at Professor Aite, one of the most brilliant people I've seen. We don't use him. Professor Aite, we don't use him. He's there, we don't use him. Aite can't think anything, we don't use him. That's my story. That's my song. Congratulations, Professor Jampo. But you know, we spoke about this today. You agreed with me. It's important that we have to now start thinking, set out ourselves to think for the future of this nation. Congratulations to us, for example. May the University of Ghana be better for it. Take it.
University of Ghana, the nation's hope and glory, the place of best and star of peace and peace and soul to do our best, get the great tower of learning is hard but young and old. May we proceed in unity
Ago Fiha, open your eyes and lend your ears and listen to our story like will never be told in all the textbooks which are set for us to study. Mind you, broaden your scope and let us be honest with ourselves, my people. Some things are difficult to address, yet who will bail the cat?
The book catalogs all the stories that have defined the Fourth Republic from the beginning until the end. As political journalists, we never cover stories without giving it a verdict. So from page 528 till the end, we call a set of stories the editorial stories. There we cast a verdict on most of the things we've written about and most of the things that have happened. I'll just read the headlines of the verdict, and when you get the book, you can read it.
A Fourth Republic did not come into being by way of external pressure either or by the activism of well-intentioned foreigners. The Ghanaian people themselves, through their institutions and political parties, navigated the processes and parameters of democracy with great assiduousness. This book tells the story of how this navigation occurred and details the specific role of particular individuals, political parties, the Supreme Court, the Electoral Commission, and the security services. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure to declare this book by Paul Adum Otri formally launched. I thank you.
I think indeed we must pay compliments to what Paul Adum Otri has done. Many of us have many experiences and all, but hardly will we have the time to put together our experiences, chronicle them in the form of a book. So indeed, this work for me is very important, very significant, and I recommend it to many people in the country.
It's important that we learn to script right for the records. And I think what our brother Paul has done is to be able to put his thoughts into writing, his recollection of history into writing, and his own opinions into writing, packaged and presented in this book. I believe, having worked with him for over 2 decades, that every element of the content of this book will stand the test of time.
All right. The text messages are interesting, no? Okay, let me get something. Then I'll go to Anziba and the team today, including Antoinette and the gentleman. The text messages are very interesting, viewers. This one is very good. Oh, somebody sent a message. He doesn't put his name there, from London. He says, "What an excellent presentation, Paul. Well done." His name is here, Max from Enfield. Oh, Enfield Southgate. That's a constituency in UK that I used to look at. I wanted to run as Member of Parliament for Enfield Southgate. That constituency was held by Michael Portillo for the Conservative Party back in the day. So if you're in Enfield, you are in my area. Enfield, tell them I'm still coming. Oh, I'm still coming. I'll run for parliamentary candidate, Enfield Southgate, for the Conservative Party. How is Michael Portillo these days, though? Okay, all right. People, viewers, Google him. Michael Portillo, P-O-T-E-T-E-L-L-I or something like that. Yeah, very, very interesting guy. Later on, he said he was gay, but he was one of the best prime ministers Britain ever got. He was Member of Parliament for Enfield Southgate in 1997, I remember. Okay, thank you very much from Enfield. Max, it's always a pleasure to read nice things. Another one says, "Paul, your submission on Ransford Jumpo must be documented as part of the Constitution. It is absolutely brilliant. You know where we should go. Get into Parliament. You are wasting time. Will you give me a seat? Give me one seat. The one near the speaker. You see, when the speaker is sitting there, the one there, I can hide behind the speaker. Oh, I'm so happy that so many people like it. Okay. One says, "Paul, how can I get your book? This is Safo. Used to be at Good Evening Ghana. Currently not in the country." Oh, yes, Safo. Yes. Lawyer. I will get it for you. Don't worry. Talk to Apreku then. Talk to Apreku, and then he'll organize it. Okay. I was looking for this text. That's it's here. Okay. It's from Karim Abdul Rahman, lecturer and head of Department of Agriculture and Consumer Science Education at UDS Tamale. He writes, "Good evening, Paul. Paul, in fact, all UTAG national executives are currently at UDS. As we speak, many of the national executives who previously appeared neutral, such as Professor Jampo and his associates, are now actively lobbying for appointments within the NDC government. Their actions against MPP government, which were based on issues such as galamsey, economic hardship, and poor conditions of service for lecturers, seem to have been deliberate. It appears they have compromised UTAG for their own selfish and greedy interest." Karim Abdul Rahman, that's what he writes. Karim, you insisted that I should read your text, so I believe I've done justice to that. Thank you very much. All right. From Citizen Francis, he says, "Professor Jampo's acceptance of an appointment from President Mahama raises serious concerns about his impartiality. Now, as a government appointee, can he truly criticize the NDC Mahama government objectively? His new role compromises his ability to speak truth to power, undermining his credibility as a neutral commentator on Ghanaian politics." Is from Francis. Okay, that's what he says, Francis. I don't know whether there's another name. Okay, let me now go to, should I be going to Antoinette or Anziba? Anziba, what are people saying?
In TV, pretending to offer unbiased opinions, yet behind the scenes he was a staunch supporter of the NDC, openly criticizing and even insulting the then president while secretly pushing his party's agenda. What happens about his so-called neutrality now that he has been awarded with this prestigious position? Hypocrisy and dishonesty. From Samuel Ofosuban, he says, "Paul, please, is he the same professor at Legon campus who gave a terrible and terrifying kiss to a lady student for a grade, or a different Jampo? I need to know." From Isaac Tree, he says, "Paul, we need a national research fund where the university researchers and the like with groundbreaking ideas can apply for money and for research." Yao February says, "Interesting communication and excellent discussion with excellent presentation." Lastly, from Fortunate Few, she says, "The first time I have had to agree with Paul on this issue about professors leaving the classroom." Over to you, Kobe.
All right, so Yao February says, "Professor Jampo did not dance President Mahama's song for vain when the president was the opposition leader. We Ghanaians have now seen his appointment as CEO of Ghana Shippers Authority, so we expect him to continue his dancing moves and work assiduously at his new portfolio to the satisfaction of Ghanaians. He should know that the same people he was using unhygienic words when in opposition and will also one day reciprocate." And now Charles Osei says, "Check the background of Cecilia Depa and her husband, who have worked so hard to earn money. Ablakwa had not worked before he went into politics and was able to raise $1 million is questionable." Now, Eli Wala says, "Following the 2020 elections, Ablakwa's assertions during the vetting process created a widespread perception that Haruna Idrisu's team was corrupt. However, Haruna Idrisu and Mutaka has come forward to confirm that they are, in fact, the owners of the houses they reside in. In contrast, Ablakwa has been unable to provide a truthful account of his own property ownership, given that his salary alone would not be enough to purchase land in Airport Hills, let alone construct a building. Regrettably, many Ghanaians are more invested in NDC and MPP issues than in addressing the country's challenges." And what do you have for us, Annette?
Yes. So it may seem as though the viewers are quite surprised at Paul's turn on events on how he analyzed Professor Jampo's appointment. Shadrach and Bellam says, "Dear Paul, I thought you were bringing gas today on Prof. Jampo's nomination, and so I came with a lighter, but it seems you've spared him, and I'm not happy about it at all." Now, here are a few things people had to say about Professor's appointment. One, Gali Isaac Alma says, "It's actually very funny how everyone is attacking Professor Jampo. I believed in Prof. Ade in his lectures on how the economy was bad during JDM's time, but he got an appointment afterwards. Professor Sorebo also did the same. Why is it that this time we are crying so much? If JDM appoints someone close to his family, we would say it's nepotism. and then he's doing family and friends. But when Nana-Addo did it, it was justified. What kind of country are we running? Now, Abbas Kiki says, Professor has to prove his worth and justify his unprovoked aggression against the former president and his vice president at that time, because Professor created an impression that public servants are saints and should not make mistakes. Now that he is a public servant, we expect him to make no mistake as well. Now, Numero Uno says, Professor Ijekum rejected appointment from the past government because he knew the implications. This man, I think, is a stomach professor, and there seems to be nothing neutral about his criticisms in the past. Now, Nuhu Ibrahim lastly says, Professor Jampo has been and will always be a professor of neutrality. I think he has nothing to lose, as he is well known for his unpolluted mind regardless. If he wants to be in government, he would have aired his views to denote his interest in government. And if he didn't, it means he is content with what he has, and Allah will bless him for what he is. At least he is able to feed himself and family, and he stands for the voiceless like me and others. Leave Professor alone, Ghanaians, so that Ghanaians like me will appreciate his claims to make the ordinary Ghanaian be appreciated for who they are. If he can feed his family and attend to issues concerning himself and others without reaching out to people for help, then I think he's good to go. Do not pollute him, we beg. Now over to you, Paul.
All right, it's past 11 now. That's how we do it on Tuesdays. Sam George has been passed. Samuel Kujetu, all of them passed as expected by Parliament. They will now be Minister for Communication and Minister for Foreign Affairs. On Thursday, we will analyze the contradictions in Sam George's appointment committee hearings, relating also to how resources are acquired by some of these young, brilliant MPs. That's it for Good Evening Ghana. Tonight, we'll be back on Thursday on another edition of the program. On Thursday, I have another conversation with A+. He doesn't know about it, but I have a conversation with him on Thursday, so get ready for that. Thanks for watching and good night.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not medical care is our concern.
This is my secret. Give us P capsules. From now on to me, give us P capsules. Over do as a mama. Oh no, enemy lawyer.
And to lawyer no na show bottom. Are you bro? Then I found upon a permission about Chiamua as a Niji.
What's on?
No. You nephew, I can't. The friend give us cold capsules. Say yes, is ya ran the wall, swore. Cold did do nip a dream when in our posa a mamma and me my wounja would name wouldn't give us cold capsules. Obey your free
lawyer.
Give us cold capsules.
And I give us P capsules.
Hey, and they give us free.
Obey Chinasuma.
And men what if you do what you do one ever. Give us core capsules. A painful a batter one more menu for one and quadawin if you do me nunca.
Attention all farmers. Are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and IRECOP brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa and the IRECOP with Cocoa Blend. palm blend, and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and ARICOP organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah. Praise God. Christianity is not a religion, neither is it a joining of a church and doing the Christian things like praying and giving and so on. Hallelujah. Christianity is the outworking of God's own kind of life received into the spirit of a man. Whoa! This divine life in the heart of a man makes him righteous. It keeps him healthy, divinely guided in life, prosperous and victorious. It gives you the ability to enjoy intimate fellowship with the Father and have dominion on this earth. Hallelujah.
Yes, in every generation on the earth, God sends special messengers with unique messages to fulfill His word in their dispensation. Whether through the Emancipator, church services, special conferences like the New Creation Conference, or the Good Life Devotion, carefully listen, watch and read the message